Rami expecting a video. Hope you guys all enjoyed today's video. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, as that would be deeply appreciated. Share the video to a friend who likes for this or just say my content in general. And with that being said, we can now begin the video. If you're watching this as a movie, then just keep watching. This is the 6th installment to What If the Namikaze clan had a Dojutsu, and it can now begin. Naruto would look around. He sensed somebody in the forest with him. He could tell that they were a ninja and that their chakra was quite high. If he were to guess, they were a Chunin or Jonin. At the very least, a Chunin. No Genin would be that powerful. Eventually, he heard a twig snap behind him. As he turned to look, he saw a man holding a sword. Blood had already stained his sword as he stared at Naruto. Intently looking at him, the man would smile. "I'll kill you and collect your head too." Naruto of the Leaf. They say that you're worth millions of Rio. If I collect you, then I can feed my family. Sorry, buddy, but I don't plan on being killed today. Back off. The shinobi who stood before him seemed to be from the Hidden Stone Village, but with a cut, or rather a slit, through his shinobi headgear, or headband, Naruto could tell that he was a rogue shinobi. Someone who went around collecting bounties for a living to, quote-unquote, feed his family. What's a ninja like you doing, collecting the bounties of men like me? You're no men, kiddo. You're a kid, probably no older than 15. Naruto disappeared. The shinobi looked around him, but could not see Naruto. Correction. I'm 16. Naruto's blade would be stabbed through the man. So it's true. What's true? What do they say? It's true. That you're the second coming. The second coming of the Yellow Flash. The stone ninja would fall to his knees. I didn't believe the rumors, but it's true. The man would fall to the ground. He was not dead. Naruto wondered who he had killed prior, but, well, he didn't concern himself with the knowledge. Instead, he reached into the cloak he was wearing and pulled out a photo. In the photo was him, Hinata, Sasuke, and his sensei, Kakashi Hatake. Just like how the original Team 7 had a photo with Sakura, Sasuke, Naruto, and Kakashi, this new Team 7 in this new canon for this What If has a Team 7 photo with Hinata, Naruto, Sasuke, and Kakashi. Naruto would stare at it, putting it away and smiling to himself. It's really been 4 years, has it? Naruto smiled. Well, I suppose it's time to return to the Leaf. Naruto would be in the Leaf Village within a couple of days. As he walked around. To note, Naruto's sensory abilities have become bar to none. He has possibly become one of the strongest sensory ninja in Naruto, let alone the Hidden Leaf Village. With that being said, Naruto had also been able to tame the Kuroime. And what I mean by that is that he's been able to tame the amount of chakra drain. Now, basically, it means that he can use any form of Kuroime that he desires as long as he, well, has it. So he can't use, say, the 5th and 6th form of the Kuroime because, well, he just hasn't progressed his Dojutsu that far. But him using the 4th stage of his Kuroime does little to nothing on the strain of chakra for him, which is a huge increase to what Naruto was before, slash the abilities and chakra that he could use whilst, well, using his Kuroime. So, a big step up for Naruto after the time skip. Another thing that should be noted, if you did not know this already, he does have Kurama Chakra Mode 1 and 2. Although, he doesn't have Sage Mode. Now, Naruto was in the leaf. He could sense chakra. Honestly, he could sense more than one chakra. He could sense about 11. 11 chakras densely compact together. And so he rushed towards them. Maybe it was the Konoha 11. Or, well, the Konoha 12. If you want to include Naruto in this timeline, which he rightfully is. And so, he appeared atop a pillar, looking down on his former comrades. He wore a mask to hide his identity, but he knew that if he crossed paths with Sasuke in the group, Sasuke would know it was him. They just had that connection. Naruto drew his blade. None of them noticed as they laughed together, and Naruto smiled to himself underneath his mask. He was now looking at people he hadn't seen for years now. Hinata had grown so much. Sasuke looked so much more strong and confident. Kiba looked like he was finally okay with who he was, as well as Shino. Fine with letting his bugs run rampant around him. Not scared to hide them away. Prideful in who he was. Naruto smiled even harder now. As Naruto continued to watch all of them, he realized something was off. As he did a head count of the group once more, and felt a kunai to his back. My name is Sasuke Uchiha. You are in the Hidden Leaf Village. If you believe that you could attack the Hidden Leaf, then you're mistaken. If you're here on business, then you have no right to watch the Konoha 12. This made Naruto smile even more. Sasuke still considered him a friend. And, well, if you wish to battle any one of us, then allow me to take it on. Because quite frankly, you have no business here. The rest of the Konoha 12 members hadn't realized, but after they heard Naruto's laughing, they quickly turned to, well, the masked shinobi, as they saw Sasuke behind him, pointing a kunai to his back. I don't think you realize it. Realize what? Come on now. Look me in my eyes. Tell me everything you said. Say it again. Just look me in my eyes this time. And so Naruto would turn around slowly so that Sasuke didn't, well, see him as a threat. And, well, he would lock eyes with Naruto through their mask. As Naruto had kind of longer hair, so Sasuke couldn't tell if it was a girl or a boy. But what he could tell was that the person behind the mask was Uzumaki Naruto. Sasuke dropped the kunai, as he would then punch Naruto straight in the face, knocking off his mask and causing Naruto to bleed from his mouth. What was that for, Sasuke? It's for beating me in a fight 4 years ago, leaving and not telling anyone where you were going except for the Hokage. We're your friends, Naruto. We deserve to know. And that's why you're not just my friend, Sasuke. You're my Don't you dare say it. I will deny it. You're my... But... I swear to God. Best friend. Ugh. You're so childish. Best friend, really? You heard it, and I am not going to take it back. You're the bestest friend someone could ever have, Sasuke. And honestly, I mean that seriously. Believe me, I've gone through hell and back. I learned how to control the Kyuubi. I have made the drain on my Kuroime all but dissipate. It probably requires the same amount of chakra now as your 3 Tamili Sharingan. Oh, and I've increased my taijutsu abilities by training with someone who could wield the 7 blades of the ninja hidden in the mist, the swordsman of the hidden mist. What? How did you do all of this? We can talk about it over some ramen at the training grounds that we used to train at. Alright. Fine. Do you think that they've noticed that it's me yet? Judging by the fact that you haven't looked at them once, they have no idea. Alright. Let's keep it that way. I'd prefer my presence to be unknown. At least until I settle back down. Maybe sleep in my apartment for the first time in 4 years. I don't know. Naruto and Sasuke would go get some ramen. After they were done getting the ramen, they would leave for the training grounds, as Naruto would begin to eat his ramen. So, what do you want to know? That so was weird because Naruto was eating. Tell me about what you did. How? Naruto stopped eating as, well, his ramen was too hot, so he had to wait to eat it anyway. When I left the village, after some time I ran into a ninja named 𝘎𝙎𝙈𝙊𝙃𝙃. A powerful nin. Strong enough for me to, well, see him as quite the interesting person. A powerhouse of a shinobi, I tell you. He told me of how he escaped, well, how he escaped from some man named Orochimaru. And then, we formed a connection. We became great friends, and he taught me all he had to know about the Mist Village. He also taught me new taijutsu skills, abilities that I hadn't yet grasped. We trained together for about a year, and then we parted ways. He was in search of the blades, the 7 blades wielded by the swordsman of the mist. The 7 ninja swordsmen, to be exact. I know who they are, Naruto. Yeah. The point is, after that, I heard that in the Cloud Village, there were 2 perfect Jinchurikis. The 2 tails, Matatabi, wielded by Yukito, and, well, the 8 tails, Yuki, wielded by Killer Bee. And so I traveled to the hidden Cloud Village, and I found them. I proved my strength to them. I told them about my life, and, well, I was welcomed by them. I was even welcomed by their Kage, hey. He taught me better lightning release. But the point is, I mainly trained with Killer Bee and Yukito. I was able to hone the Kyuubi's chakra entirely. Now, we have a connection. Before, when I would use Nine-Tails chakra, it was more of a, well, use it so there's no chance of us dying out there while you're fighting. Now it's more of a, well, you need my chakra, then so be it. You can have it, you know? I call it Kurama Chakra Mode 1 and 2. Well, what's the difference? The sheer power behind my attacks and the amount of chakra that I have to, well, use abilities in attacks. My speed is also far superior in KCM 2 than KCM 1. Although most of my abilities aren't heightened very much by, well, the difference in KCM 1 and 2. From my base form that I'm in right now to Kurama Chakra Mode 1, I am far stronger, far superior, far faster, far smarter even at times. More calculated in my own opinion. But enough about me, Sasuke. Tell me about yourself. What have you been up to? How's Kakashi-sensei? Hinata? Hinata's great, and Kakashi's fine. He managed to fully unlock his Mangekyo Sharingan, and I managed to also do the same. We have been able to train our eyes together, although I use mine sparingly. I fear that if I use it too much during training, then the eyes will fade. Yeah, how'd you know? Itachi told me of the eyes a long time ago. Besides, you think I traveled all around the world just to not know what the Mangekyo Sharingan does? I learned all about the Uchiha clan. How the progenitor of the clan, or rather its most famed member, Madara Uchiha, how he battled with Lord First, and how we were standing on their statues in the valley where we fought. It's ironic in a way. Now anyway, the point is, I know just enough about your clan to know about the fading eyes of the Mangekyo. What you may not know, though, is if you take the eyes of someone with a Mangekyo Sharingan who's related to you, say for instance, Itachi, then you gain an eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, which is an eye that, as it implies, is eternal. It cannot ever go blind. I see. I learned that Izuna Uchiha gave his Mangekyo Sharingan to Madara, who had already amassed the Dojutsu. And upon giving it to him, his eyes transformed into the EMS, the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. It's amazing how he could still help Madara even from the grave. That's how powerful Izuna Uchiha was. I learned of battles between Madara and Hashirama that spanned for up to 24 hours. I learned of the many clashes in the feudal times. I learned of the Jinchuriki all throughout, and I warned several nations of the Akatsuki and how they wish to collect the Biju. Most importantly, I told the Sand Village. I had to notify Gaara. And now, they know the perfect way to defend against him. How's that, Naruto? Well, during the 4 years while I was gone, I learned a very difficult jutsu. I don't know how, but I found a scroll. Actually, it was quite close to the outskirts of the Hidden Leaf Village. It was covered in blood, so I had to open it. And as I looked at it, I saw many jutsu. Forbidden jutsu and jutsu that were, well, important to the Leaf Village. For instance, I saw the Rasengan and the Chidori. But more importantly, I saw a jutsu known as the reanimation jutsu. And even more important than that, a jutsu known as the Flying Raijin. The reanimation jutsu, well, it required a human sacrifice, and, well, I'm not a monster. I wasn't just going to go and get a human sacrifice. So, practicing on the jutsu was irrelevant, but the Flying Raijin wasn't. And so during my 1 year alone, as well, after 2 years of training with Killer Bee and Yukito, I departed from the Hidden Cloud Village. Although we still have a strong connection. I managed to learn the Flying Raijin in the year afterwards. Honestly, I probably would have returned to the village a year earlier. But I found that scroll and, well, it made me want to work hard to master the jutsu. Well, unfortunately, it took me a whole year, which is rather upsetting. We could have reunited much sooner. I assume you've gotten stronger too, Sasuke? Much stronger. Besides the fact that I told you of the Mangekyo and how I've been able to now use it properly. Truly. I figured out that my left eye creates Amaterasu flames. And my right eye can manipulate those flames. It is known as Kakatsuchi. The manipulation of my blaze release. I can even form spikes with it. Interesting. It seems like a potent ability that you now possess. It seems like you've left me in the dust, Naruto. I have no business fighting with you at all. Now, with that being said, many things would go very differently. Gaara would never be captured by Deidara and Sasori due to the fact that, well, Gaara has a flying Raijin kunai with him, which means that the moment that the Akatsuki, well, came to the village, Gaara would know. He knew of their red flamed cloud cloaks, and, well, he would call on the blade or rather the kunai, whatever you want to call it, as it's kind of shaped in a blade form, as they are the exact same kunai that Minato used. But with that being said, the sealing formula is just a little bit different as well. Minato and Naruto are a little bit different, even quite different if you want to go that far, besides the fact that they are father and son, not to over-explain anything. With that being said, as the seal was called upon, Naruto would appear, but bringing with him was Sasuke. And so Sasuke, Naruto, and Gaara, Kazekage Gaara, and a post-time skip, Naruto and Sasuke, who has the Mangekyou Sharingan, and Naruto, who has mastered his Kuroime and Kurama Chakra Mode, there is no chance in hell that Sasori or Deidara would be able to capture any one of them, let alone Gaara. Now, with that being said, Naruto had also left a kunai with, well, two other Jinchuriki, those being Yugito and Killer Bee. But with that being said, Deidara would fly away on, well, one of his bird clay bombs, with Sasori tagging along, as they were no match for the combined efforts of Naruto, Sasuke, and Gaara. It would be here that a 5 Kage summit would be held by Gaara, who had first-hand, well, witnessed what the Akatsuki did, and, well, how they are now actively hunting the Biju. The 5 Kage summit would be held, as Naruto would be taken alongside Tsunade to the meeting of the 5 Kage. The first 5 Kage summit in decades. Naruto is proud. He was taken alongside Tsunade. Lady Tsunade took him. That must mean that she sees promise in him. It made him smile. It made him happy. The Akatsuki would be discussed within the meeting, as they would all leave kunai with Naruto. So, in the case that their Jinchuriki were hunted, as long as they had contact with their Jinchuriki, because obviously people like Utakata, who is the Jinchuriki of the Six-Tail Seiken, they're rogue ninja, so their village has no way of contacting them anyway. But for the villages with Jinchuriki that will actually stayed within, well, the village, they would have kunai seals for Naruto to basically be able to teleport to and aid their Jinchuriki. Naruto was clearly the strongest in the room, even surpassing Lady Tsunade, and every Kage could tell that the Leaf was going to be a powerhouse for the rest of their days. That the keys to their kingdom would be entrusted to, well, the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki Naruto Uzumaki, who even donned the kanji for 6th on his Jonin sleeve, as Naruto, in this timeline, is now a Jonin, and so is Sasuke, actually, in this timeline, as well as Hinata, who is also a Jonin. Now, with that being said, there is a lot of stuff that we are going to have to skip over, because I can't have this movie be over 6 hours, but we are going to be skipping past most of the events until the Pain battle. Naruto would absolutely bully Pain. After Pain attacked the village and would use, well, almighty push to destroy almost the entire village, Naruto would see this appearing on the scene after not having Sage Mode in this timeline because there's no reason for him to use Sage Mode. Jiraiya has not been killed because, well, he has no need to learn more information on the Akatsuki, as Naruto knows more than enough about them, as he was debriefed by Itachi. And so, in this timeline, Jiraiya is actually going to be in the village when Pain attacks, which means that several of Pain's summonings would be dealt with. Tsunade would take on one, Kakashi would take on one, and Jiraiya would take on one, with Naruto taking on the other three, including the Deva Path. All of them would dispose of their paths that they were fighting, as I see no reason why an individual path could stop Tsunade, an individual path could stop Kakashi, an individual path could stop Jiraiya, and 3 paths of Pain could stop a Naruto with KCM2. But, with that being said, Naruto's Kurobe would be the deciding, well, factor in the battle, as he would dispatch of all of them. With that being said, he now looked in the eyes of the Deva Path, who had been nearly dismantled after trying to use Shabaku Tensei. Naruto had blitzed him before he could use the technique, and as he watched rocks combine, he destroyed them, sending all of the rocks and debris that Pain had gathered back at him, causing his Deva Path to be in critical condition and unable to move. It would be here that Jiraiya actually approached the Deva Path in this timeline, as he would be the one to stab himself with the chakra rod, now knowing exactly where Nagata was. Naruto in this timeline would still talk no jutsu, well, Nagato, which would cause him to revive everyone with Rene Rebirth. Other villages realized that the relief was in peril, but they chose not to attack as they knew the military might that they had. Some time would pass and the 4th Great Ninja War would be held, with Kabuto at its helm, using reanimation jutsu after reanimation jutsu, bringing back dead ninjas. Some were the strongest in their eras, although there were a few he couldn't summon, the Hokages. Those Hokage were still summoned by Orochimaru, the Snake Sani, the legendary Leaf Shinobi. But, with that being said, the first Great Shinobi War would be won by a familiar face. Uzumaki and Naruto teamed together to, well, my apologies, I made a mistake there. Naruto Uzumaki and Sasuke Uchiha teamed up together to create a fearsome duo that ripped apart several squadrons of reanimated nin. They even defeated the 7 ninja swordsmen all by themselves. They were a force to be reckoned with. They killed so many ninja that by the time that Madara was in, well, the war and had been reanimated, they were there. They were in the 4th Division, ready to face Madara, and they would. The 2 of them would be the ninja leading the charge. As, well, Madara was shocked. From what Madara could tell, Naruto's chakra levels, his insane chakra, had to be that of a Senju. And so he saw it as a Senju and an Uchiha working together. That there may have been peace in this world. That, well, men and women alike between nations maybe had learned to forgive themselves. That maybe, just maybe, it didn't require power to create peace. Because between Hashirama and his own clan, they had found peace. A Senju working with an Uchiha to fight an individual threat to both of them. It was almost ironic as he was fighting for peace, although he believed that power was needed to ensure that peace. Naruto and Sasuke would fight him for what felt like forever. And eventually, they would be crowned successful, which means, in this timeline, Madara never becomes the Jinchuriki of the Ten Tails. Actually, overall, it means that the Ten Tails never appears. Because all of the tail beasts are not collected, the 10 tails cannot be summoned by Madara. Let alone the fact that Naruto hadn't been taken and the Ginkaku and Kinkaku brothers were actually defeated by Sasuke and Naruto. Like I said, they were a fearsome duo that tore apart the reanimated shinobi together. Well, Sasuke used his Mangekyo Sharingan and Naruto used his Kuroime to, well, basically destroy any and all reanimations using a secret sealing jutsu that his Kuroime had in its 5th stage, which Naruto would awaken whilst nearly being killed by a reanimated ninja. A reanimated ninja who happened to be the Ginkaku and Kinkaku brothers. With that being said, there is no 10 tails, which means that there is no Jubidara or, well, Jubito. So, with that being said, Madara is disposed of, and Kabuto realizes that his army has fallen to pieces. Obito would appear before Kabuto asking if everything was okay, as he felt the presence of Madara dissipate. Kabuto would tell him that everything was under control, but that somehow 2 shinobi had actually defeated Madara. Obito would ask where these shinobi now were, as Kabuto would tell him. Obito would then use his Kamui to appear before them, daunting his mask. Naruto would try to hit him, but he couldn't. But eventually, he figured it out. He figured out the jutsu. With Sasuke's intellect to be able to break down the jutsu, Naruto knew how it functioned. As something eerie would happen to Obito. He would watch as the flying Raijin was performed on him like it was all those years ago on the night of the Nine Tails attack. As he would be Rasengan'd in the exact same way. Obito now laid on the ground. What is this? Master. Sensei. Your son. What has he become? Has he surpassed you? Obito thought all of these things while still on the ground. The 10 tails had yet to cloud his mind and make him only see red. To put it bluntly, at least. Obito would be defeated far before he could turn himself to the light, as Naruto would almost stab his blade through Obito, but, well, Sasuke would stop him, telling Naruto that his leaf signature was that of a leaf shinobi. That, well, the signature he got from Obito was a leaf signature. I said leaf signature earlier, but I meant chakra signature. With that being said, Naruto would stop, as he would teleport Obito back to the Hidden Leaf Village, imprisoning him and placing a chakra seal on his mask, which meant that his eyes were now sealed. He also put one on his body, and, well, shackled him to, well, the cell. Obito now would be a prisoner of war, as the 4th Great Shinobi War had been ended by Naruto Uzumaki and Sasuke Uchiha. I am Sasuke Uchiha of the Hidden Leaf Village, and I am Naruto Uzumaki of the Hidden Leaf. We declare to you proud and strong ninja who have gathered here as one army. We are here to declare that the 4th Great Shinobi War is over. Yay! Many ninja applauded and yelled and screamed out in happiness. Some cried tears of joy. Naruto and Sasuke were crowned heroes of the war. And after 3 years of the war being, well, a thing of the past, Naruto would be appointed to the 6th Hokage of the Hidden Leaf Village, after learning as much as he could under Tsunade and Kakashi, which are 2 pretty good, well, people to learn under for the position of Hokage. With that, Naruto would settle down. He had no reason to keep fighting, and, well, Sasuke would act as his shadow Hokage, doing the dirty work for him while he sat in the office doing paperwork and, well, protecting the village from within. Sasuke made sure that outside threats, like even the Otsutsuki, could not harm the village. Now, although there is no reason for Sasuke to have a Rinnegan, I see no reason why the Sage of 6 Paths would not do nothing and not give Naruto or Sasuke an amped. So maybe this sounds outlandish to some, but with Hagoromo not wanting the Sage's 6 Paths chakra to go to waste, knowing that he could help Sasuke and Naruto in the case that any Otsutsuki would threaten, well, the world. He would grant them the powers of the Sage's 6 Paths, meaning that Naruto now has the powers of all the Biju, effectively. And he also happens to have, well, true seeking orbs along with Sasuke. With that being said, Sasuke also now has the Rinnegan, which is obviously a huge amp. But with that being said, yeah, I see no reason why they wouldn't be able to have those, as, well, Hagoromo would have to ensure that the Otsutsuki could not destroy the planet Earth. They would need, well, Earth would need a proper protector, or in this case, protectors, Sasuke and Naruto. The two people who could protect the world from nearly any threat, with their power and their power threshold. With that being said, eventually, after some time, Naruto would actually fall in love with Hinata, after Hinata confessed her feelings for him. And it would be there that they married, and even settled down having children. Himawari and Boruto. Or rather, Boruto and Himawari, as Boruto would still be the firstborn in this timeline. Sasuke would happen to settle down with a shinobi that he had met far outside of the Hidden Leaf Village, her name being Karin Uzumaki. After learning that she was in Uzumaki, Naruto was delighted. His clan would, well, continue. His clan that was wiped out would, well, it would continue further and further. And at the height of it would be strong shinobi. The strongest shinobi in the entire world, most likely. With Sasuke and Naruto as the people who would, well, be the inheritors of the clan, there was no better option for people to lead the new Uzumaki. With that being said, at this point, Naruto does actually know that Minato is his father. I just wanted to make that clear because I see no reason why Kakashi wouldn't tell him, especially after the war and after Naruto becomes Hokage. Now, with that being said, you may see this as a rushed ending. You may see this as an incomplete work of art. But I see this as a series that continued to 5 parts that was never complete. I see this as a remastered series that was brought life again. And a series that I hope all of you enjoyed in its entirety. And although some parts maybe were too slow or too fast, I hope that you enjoyed. And that you understood the time and effort that it took to make this. That you understood the dedication that it took to create such a what if. To bring back my old video and turn it into new. Because what is a what if not art? And what is art if not an explosion? This has been 𝙎𝙊𝙊𝙃. I hope you guys all enjoyed. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And with that being said, 𝙎𝙊𝙃 out.